Hi, it's Elise here at Bowman Library with a whole new middle grade book spotlight. So our theme for this week is to start getting us into that spooky mood because Halloween's coming up. It's like at the end of this week. So hopefully you have everything ready for it. You have your costumes picked out because we have some awesome thriller and suspense books to kind of help you get into that Halloween spirit. So we have some ones that are more thriller, more suspense. We have some ones that have some scary, some horror in it, maybe some not as much, but so we have a little bit something for everyone. So let's get started. Our first one is small spaces. So Ollie has had a bit of a rough time lately, especially since her mother has passed away. She and her father, they've just been trying to cope as best they can, and Ollie has found her best coping has been in her love of reading. So one day she's walking home and she comes across this older woman who's at the river trying to throw this book into the river. And not wanting the book to get ruined because of how much Ollie loves to read, she runs up to this woman, she snatches the book in her hand, and she just takes off running. So wanting to know what the big deal is about this book, Ollie goes home and naturally she decides she's going to read it. So as she reads it, it's about this story of this family, and they live on this farm, and they soon find themselves that they're in trouble. There's some family drama, there's some stuff at the farm, and when they think that everything's just about to end, they make a promise with this person called the Smiling Man. Which just then, things get better at first, but then things get really creepy worse because of the Smiling Man. So the next day, after reading this really weird story, Ollie's class finds themselves on a field trip to a farm. Believe it or not, it's the farm that is in that creepy book story. And as they're going to the farm, the bus stalls just randomly in the middle of nowhere, and they're in this super dense patch of fog and they can't see anything, and Ollie just knows that things are not going to go well. And they get off the bus and they start running. Who do they run into? But the Smiling Man. This creepy story will keep you on the edge of your seat. It will have you turn the page as fast as you can. There is a sequel. It's already out, so you want to make sure you check that one out too. This is Small Spaces. Tunnels. So this got a lot of press when it first came out. So you might have heard of it. If not, you're in for a treat. So Will is completely different from the rest of his family. He prefers to spend his time below ground, digging and excavating these tunnels that are under the city. And he does this with the help of his best friend, Chester. Now, as they start to dig further and further than they've ever gone before, they actually discover that there is this society, there is this whole town and group of people that they live completely below the ground. And as they're just discovering this, Will is captured by these people called the Sticks. And not only is he captured, he is then tortured by them. He's held prisoner. And when they decide they're done with him, they're going to banish him to a part even further down in the tunnels, there's this family that takes him in order to save him. And he soon realizes that this family is the one that his mother left behind to go live above ground. And there's a whole bunch of mixed emotions and drama that comes with it. This non-stop action thriller is one that was filled with twists, there's turns, there's secrets. I will tell you, no character is safe, especially from betrayal and some bad things. And it will leave you guessing, especially at the end. So this has a bit of a slow start. Don't let it distract you. Just power through. I promise you it'll pay off. It is the first in a lengthy series. There's 5 or 6 books and they're pretty hefty. So if you're looking for a new series to pick up, you can start with Tunnels. Chasing Secrets. So it's San Francisco in the year 1900. 13-year-old Lizzie would rather be learning to become a doctor than what's called be a real lady. She's even sent to school to learn ladylike things. One day, though, she gets an opportunity to go on some house calls with her doctor father. And it's there that she starts to hear them talk about these rumors, about this new plague that's infecting and killing people. And it's mainly happening in what's known as the Chinatown area. So when their cook goes missing, and he lives in Chinatown, Lizzie assumes that he's stuck there there in the quarantine. But then she starts to wonder things, and she starts to ask herself some things, like, if this plague is so contagious, and it's so spreadable by air, then why is the only part of the city under lockdown, why is it only Chinatown? Like, why is everyone else allowed to go about where they want? Plus, there are no supplies and there's no medicine going into Chinatown to help people. So what is actually going on there? Lizzie decides that she wants to figure out what it is. She's going to be up to her, and she starts to go down this road that may end up costing her everything. The suspenseful mystery is actually based on a true event from our history. It will leave you guessing and wondering on so many different levels. This is Chasing Secrets. The Stone Child. So Eddie loves to read and has always been okay with just being by himself, reading mystery stories written by his favorite author, Nathaniel Olmsted. But when Eddie is forced to move to a new town, the only thing that makes it survivable, livable, is the fact that the place where he is moving to is his author's hometown. Now, the one thing that is disappointing is that before he moves here, this author has been missing for 13 years. No one knows where he's gone. So when he's in this new town and he's exploring, he stumbles across this book written by Nathaniel Olmsted, but it is completely in a secret code. So Eddie decides he wants to figure out what this code is. He might end up solving the mystery to this guy who disappeared, his favorite author, and just think about what could happen from that. So he makes some new friends, and the three of them set off on an adventure that they will never have dreamed of, because they start trying to figure out this code, and it starts leading them to clues, and before they know it, they're wrapped up in the possibility that there's this creepy woman, and if she gets out, they will have possibly destroyed the fabric of the universe, leaving everything in complete chaos and havoc. So, if you want to read a book that has some creepy thrills, mixed in with some horror, mixed in with some mystery needing to be solved, with some code solving, this one has all of that and more. This is The Stone Child. The Strangers. So, siblings Jess, Emma, and Finn, they're having an easy life with their mom. Their dad passed away a few years ago, so it's just the four of them, and they're living in Arizona. Things are great. But things start to get really weird one day when they get home from school and their mom is completely frantic and she's freaked out. Then they look on the TV and there's this news broadcast about these 3 kids who have gone missing. They all have the same names, ages, and birthdays as Jess, Emma, and Finn. Then, out of the blue, their mother announces that she's going away on a business trip and she's going to leave the next morning. But when they wake up the next morning, they see that she's gone, but then her phone and her laptop are still there in the house. They start to wonder what is actually really going on. And then, when they find this coded letter, they're completely freaked out. But they know the only way to figure out what's actually going on is to figure out this code in this coded letter. And it is just going to be the beginning. This is the first book in a series. It's like the last one. The latest one just came out this year. You're going to want to read all 3 as soon as you can. This is The Strangers. And our last one is The Seer of Shadows. So it's 1872 in New York City. 14-year-old Horace is an apprentice to a photographer. He's supposed to be learning how to take pictures of people from this master. But his boss comes up with this different idea instead. He realizes that people who have lost a loved one, they would pay pretty much anything they can to see the spirit of their loved one, to know that they're still around, that they're okay. So he decides he's going to dupe people into thinking that he can take pictures of ghosts, and then he's going to charge them way more money, and it's going to work out great. So he decides he's going to try this out on the wealthy Mrs. Von Mock. She has a daughter named Eleanor who just passed away, and he knows that she would give anything to see her daughter one more time. So he goes to Horace, and it's up to Horace to make this happen, to double exposures, make this picture. But it's when Horace goes to try to do this that he realizes that he can actually see like the real ghost of Eleanor. And somehow she's able to communicate with him, and he knows that Eleanor did not die of natural causes. In fact, complete opposite. She was murdered, and she's intent on getting revenge on the person who caused her ending. This supernatural thriller ghost story is one that will have you trying to solve it right alongside with Horace, because you're going to want to know what happened to Eleanor, and you're not going to know until Horace finds out, so you're going to want to you're going to be figuring this out. If you love a good creepy ghost mystery story, this is the Sierra of Shadows. So these are just 6 of the books that we have here at the library that are thriller and suspense to get you in that mood for that Halloween holiday coming up here at the end of the week. So I encourage you to come on down. You can check out one of these, or we have so many other thriller and suspense books that we will help you find that perfect one that you are looking to read to get some creepy vibes off of. I hope you have a great Halloween week, and I hope you tune back next week when we have a whole new middle grade book spotlight.